It's rare to witness greatness unfold, but watching Cameron Beaubier dominate the 2020 season, shattering track records, and marching towards the all-time single-season win record defines greatness. If you're racing against him, do you sit back and watch, or do you work your knuckles to the bone to figure out how to slow down the Beaubier bullet? We find out who's put in the work right now. You've landed on the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship, our 7th round of 2020. It's the MotoAmerica Superbikes at Alabama at Barber Motorsports Park, right here in Birmingham, Alabama. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HONOS Superbike Show. I'm Greg White, standing alongside Jason Pridmore, two-time national champion at this level. Now, Jason, Cameron Beaubier, well, there's been 13 races, and he's won 12 of them this year. He is dominating this thing.
Yeah, and some people will say, oh, it's boring, it's this and that. I really love watching Cameron ride a motorcycle, and I think we all have to appreciate it while he's here, while he's doing what he does. He's so good at his craft, Greg, and what he is doing by breaking lap records during the races, during qualifying, it's phenomenal.
And Jason, while Cameron Beaubier is starting to just kind of check out on this championship, we have a great battle going on for second place between two unbelievably talented riders, Jake Gagne and Matthew Schultz. And Jay, you can see in the points the first 8 races what separates them, but the momentum in terms of point scoring has really started to head over to Matthew Schultz.
It really has, and as you can see here, both guys have been on the podium. Both guys have seen a lot of each other on the racetrack, battling for obviously second and thirds. Both of them would like to get a little bit closer to Cameron. Yesterday, Jake Gagne was only 4.2 seconds behind Cameron at the end.
Well, we have 2 pit reporters working hard on the grid, and let's welcome one of them right now, Hannah Lopa. Hi, Hannah.
Greg, with 4 podiums to his credit, including 1 race win, you could say Bobby Fong's 6th place finish yesterday was a bit unexpected. But during the race, we saw him motioning to his motorcycle as if something were wrong. Bobby, what seemed to be the problem?
Yesterday we dealt with the little electronics problems. We felt pretty good in the beginning of the race. We're just situating some things, but my guys got the thing working great today, so looking forward to chasing these guys up front.
Best of luck out there, Bobby. Let's get over to Jamie Howe.
Hannah, finishing just ahead of Bobby Fong yesterday was Cameron Peterson on a stock 1000 spec Suzuki. He had no problems. He said they checked every single box they wanted to in order to get that top 5 result. So Cameron, how do you repeat that today?
Yeah, I think my main goal is just get another good start, and it's a pity they don't let us do Super Pole. You know, it would be nice to throw a Super Pole tire at this and see if I could get a little bit further up the grid. Makes my life pretty hard. I know the guys in front of me are super fast, but I'm just going to have to try get in front of Herron and Aussie Dave and those guys as quick as I can. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to having some fun this race. You know, I've done my job this weekend, and yeah, just looking to go have some fun and do some wheelies and spin the rear up. So yeah, let's get it going.
It's the 10th position he starts from, Greg.
Yeah, he certainly is. And when you really look at Barber Motorsports Park, there's really no better place to spin the tire and do some wheelies. 2.38 miles, and of course you have a nice blend of right and left-handers up and down. Jason, when we look at this racetrack, we want to focus on the Cardo track hot spots because a lot of places to pass. Entertaining racetrack, but also very raceable.
Yep, well, Cameron coming from 10th. These are some of the spots he's going to be looking at, getting down into turn 1 right off the start. It's a bit of a tricky start here, so if you get a good one, try to get down the outside of some people, set you up for the inside of turn 2, and then you got to get a good run up over the top of turn 4 so that you can duck down the inside of people going down into Charlotte's Web. And this is a spot where we've seen Cameron do a little bit of that over the last day and a half or so. Sooner or later, you're going to get to this back straightaway, Greg, and you're going to go down into turns 11 and 12. A fast left-hander that you can't see the apex of as you're tipping in to a right up over the top of a bridge here. Tunnel, I guess. Into the tight right left section that brings you back onto this front straightaway.
So fast, so entertaining. Barber Motorsports Park. All these racers going to have to contend it for the race duration. 20 laps scheduled in the books for this HONOS Superbike race, and they're all chasing this guy, Cameron Beaubier. Can he get his 13th win of the season? We're here to find out.
Today's Superbike coverage is sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And brought to you in part by Geico Motorcycle. Now through October 7th, save an additional 15% on motorcycle insurance. Today's Superbike race coverage is sponsored by HONOS, the apparel brand that promotes talent within the adrenaline sports realm.
Welcome back to Barber Motorsports Park. We have to say congratulations to former MotoAmerica racer Garrett Gerloff, who today in World Superbike was able to put it on the podium, his first. Jason, he finished second here twice last year. Garrett Gerloff now on the podium and was in a spot to put on second. Congratulations, Garrett Gerloff. Outstanding job.
Is that great to see? I loved it. I watched it this morning. I was screaming at my phone. I was watching it on my phone, actually.
And Jay, that's what MotoAmerica is about. MotoAmerica is here to create future champions of the world, and Garrett Gerloff is getting it done. All right, let's take a look at the starting grid for the HONOS Superbike race number 2. Jason, we know Cameron Beaubier is on pole, but then it's Matthew Schultz and Jake Gagne locked in that second place battle.
With Tony Elias, Bobby Fong hoping to get any of those problems that he had yesterday behind him. Kyle Wyman just outside of there on row 2. Herron, Anthony, Coffey. Then we have Cam Peterson, who we heard in our pre-race. Travis Wyman and Stefano Mesa going to be on row 4. Back to row number 5, we got Corey Alexander, Michael Gilbert, and Ashton Yates. Max Flinders, Joe Giannato, and Alan Phillips. Back on a little further, Daniel Lewis, Walt Sipp, Andrew Lee coming from row number 7, and Jeffrey Perk.
Going to be a slight shift in the grid, as we just found out moments ago that Michael Gilbert will not be in this particular race, as he raced his stock 1000 race earlier today. But up front, all things remain the same. What is Jake Gagne, teammates to Cameron Beaubier, going to do to try to slow the progression of Beaubier? Try to take his lines and rough him up. It's time to find out. Barber Motorsports Park, race 2. HONOS Superbike underway, clutches are out. And Beaubier again with a stellar launch. But how about Tony Elias on the 24? He goes into third spot with Matthew Schultz in second. Still sorting out.
Gagne goes back around the outside of Elias, and then Elias' teammate Bobby Fong jumps in the back of him. That's such a great shot right there. Now they're going down into Charlotte's Web. Cameron Beaubier yesterday, Greg, made a small mistake in here on his first lap. Not going to make that mistake today. He's got a little bit of room. Look at Cam Peterson on that yellow GSX-R 1000. He's already got himself up into what, Greg, 6th or 7th spot?
Yeah, 6th place. Josh Herron going wide on that Chivy BMW, trying to find some traction on board with your race leader, Cameron Beaubier. Into the museum corner, Matthew Schultz on the 11 on Westby Racing in second spot, ahead of Jake Gagne. Tony Elias yesterday rode on that hardest option done. Oh no, Matthew Schultz. That was a moment.
It looked like he either hit the curb with his knee or he hit the curb with the front tire first. I just couldn't tell. I saw it in my peripheral there, Greg, because I was looking at what Cameron was doing. So maybe we'll get a replay of that in here in a little bit later. But right now, look at Gagne just able to carve that attack Yamaha up underneath Schultz there in the last set of corners. He wants to go set and sail after his teammate.
Yeah, but you know, for Schultz, the heart has got to be skipped a beat once or twice. After that incident, he's got to gather himself back up. Sometimes when you see riders hitting that curb with their knees specifically, you might lose a knee puck, but we can see on Schultz's leathers, he's still got all of his knee pucks intact. So second place battle continues to rage on, not only on the racetrack, but in this championship. Cameron Beaubier trying to do what he normally does, get a comfortable lead and then start managing it. But Jake Gagne is doing everything he can to keep him in sight. Monster Energy Attack Performance Yamahas leading the way again. And Jason, the development of this Yamaha R1 through the leader in this paddock, Monster Energy Attack Performance Yamaha, as well as Westby Racing, it just really, really shows. Jamie?
Jake Gagne, after the race yesterday, felt like they had too much chatter at the front of the bike. He really needed something smoother. So overnight, they raised the bike up, and in the morning warm-up, he said it was the best Yamaha he had all weekend long. So he's very happy with their performance. He was hoping to get the start that he did. So hopefully he can close that gap to Cam.
Something weird's going on because I can see, yeah, Gagne was looking back, almost like he had a problem. He does. He has a problem, Greg. He let Schultz go by. He looks like he's touring at the moment, but something doesn't look exactly right. I thought for a minute he was looking back because he had a tear-off snagged, but man, it's really strange that he's continued.
He was like tapping on his bar as well, his left handlebar. So Gagne continues. We'll see if he motions to his crew at all.
Yeah, he's pulling
motioned.
over.
Something's going on.
Clutch maybe? I mean, I see him looking down. Looked like he was trying to make an adjustment there. Bobby Fong's going to try to go by him now as they head up to turn 2. Gagne's a pro. He's going to do everything he can to stay out of these guys' way.
Shaking his head. So in terms of that second place championship run, Matthew Skoltz has an opportunity to maximize his points haul to 20. If Gagne is not able to continue and doesn't score points in this one, we're going to see a flip-flop for second place in the championship. It's 10 for Gagne at the moment. Skoltz would go up by 10 just like that. But the battle on the racetrack between a couple of GSXR 1000s going on. That full-blown superbike of the M4 X-Star Suzuki of Bobby Fong, followed by that stock 1000 spec Cam Peterson. The resurging South African Cam Peterson is
on
incredible.
The back of these guys, and he's just got to be licking his lips. That's a podium right there in front of Cam, with Tony Elias obviously running third now that Gagne is gone. Cam's going to make hay while the sun is shining right now on these new tires and do everything he can to get up with these boys and run away. You can see Kyle Wyman and Josh Herron are just behind them right now, but I think that extra track time this year seems like it's really helped Cam.
Let's not forget that there are rides available. Silly season is in full swing, and the M4 X-Star Suzuki team has intentions on signing a few riders, but there's always an opportunity to turn the heads of a team owner and say, hey, I deserve to be on this superbike. As for Tony Elias, your 2017 champ, number 24, on that M4 X-Star Suzuki motorcycle, when I spoke with him after morning warm-up, the whole idea was to use that softer option Dunlop rear tire, because he said once the riders get away from him on the tire he was on yesterday, known as the medium plus, but the harder option tire, he wasn't able to make up any ground. Tony Elias, though, holding on to third place, Hannah.
And Greg, when I asked him about those tires, he said he expected that harder option rear to be stronger in the first few laps. And with a lighter fuel load later on, the bike had more grip. The tire was really good. The reason he made the switch today is so that he could be strong right out the gate and just maintain that tire wear to the end of the race.
So far, it's paying off for him, Hannah, without question, holding on to third, so a better start, even though Jake Gagne has exited this race, at least from our screen at the moment. Gagne still out on the racetrack, Jason, I believe circulating in 8th place. And you can see Kyle Wyman now just back behind this trio of Suzukis.
Yeah, he's going to do everything he can. That team has been working hard on some different things this weekend. Has the Ducati team of Kyle Wyman. Made a couple more small changes today. As you look at Bobby Fong, Tony makes himself really vulnerable there in that last set of corners by running out as wide as he does. These guys are going to take advantage of that. If they're this close again that next lap, you can expect Bobby Fong to go up underneath Tony Elias in that turn 14-15 area.
Onto the front straightaway, you can see that the full-blown superbike specs of the GSXR 1000 of those M4 X-Star Suzukis do get a couple of bike lengths on the stock 1000 spec GSXR 1000 of Cam Peterson on that Altus Motorsports. But Jason, the thing is that here at Barber Motorsports Park, horsepower is definitely not king. Corner speed helps. Bobby Fong trying to go up the inside. Hard on the brakes. Into turn number 5. The door is open for Cam Peterson to try to sneak underneath Tony Elias. He does. So you've got to pounce when the opportunity presents itself.
100%. Tony's going to be able to drive back by Cameron. It looks like Cam lets off the brake lever.
Whoa.
It goes past Elias as they go down into the museum corner to get himself up to 4th. So these guys didn't have to wait till turns 15 and 16 to do anything. Now they're on their way, and Kyle Wyman all the while just keeps chipping away at the 3 Suzukis in front of him.
Cam Peterson looking so strong.
Greg, I talked to Cam and he said yesterday they made a change between the stock 1000 race and the Superbike race to the wheelbase and the ride height to give him some more rear grip. He said that bike and his setup was very kind to the tire, which made a huge difference from him. He's really hoping to replicate yesterday's results, but between the back-to-back race weekends, he has had so many laps running 2 classes that he is exhausted, but he's still willing to go out there and give it his all.
Yeah, Hannah, that's great. He won't be thinking about that right now. He's going to be more excited than exhausted. He knows right now that the cameras are on him. He's going to be a guy that a lot of people are going to look at. Jeremy Coffey is down. He's up. He's running to pick up his motorbike. Just trying to see. That's going to be out probably in the 14, 15, 16 area. Greg, I'm just looking at kind of the area. Yeah, it's going to be what it is. He's going to.
Ooh, lost the rear.
Lost the rear.
Superbike underground. Jeremy Coffey into the grass he goes, trying to keep his feet. See if he's able to restart this race. All the while, Cameron Beaubier's out front by 3.9 seconds.
Oh, no. Oh,
is that Cam Peterson?
He's lost the front down into turn 5. So right there at Charlotte's Web, Cam Peterson, we've not seen this much this year out of him, making a small mistake down there. Let's see what happens. He's going to get in behind the back of Bobby Fong here. Everything looks pretty normal, and he's probably just going to end up losing the front, Greg. It looks like he almost... Yeah, he was trying to cut the bike back. I don't think he was really doing anything special, but he had a little bit more lean, and that's going to frustrate him.
And he knows for Cameron Peterson that, wow, he had such a strong result in front of him. I mean, that was for a podium position as Fong is in 3rd, Peterson was in 4th. So that opens up the room for Tony Elias now to fight with his teammate one-on-one, unless Kyle Wyman can continue to close that gap and give those Suzukis a fit. So he's going to try to remount Cameron Peterson. All the while, Cameron Beaubier the bullet.
He's gone. 3.8 seconds, Greg. 23.4, fastest lap of his race so far. We haven't even got to talk about him. 24.2 up over the top hill, the hill here. This guy just did the fastest first split of the race, the number 11 to Matthew Schultz. He still has head down. He was a 10th quicker than Cameron that last lap. So probably Cameron sees +3 or +4 on his board and then starts to manage. All the while, Matthew Schultz still has that head down trying to catch up.
Jake Gagne locked in a battle for 2nd place with Matthew Schultz nowhere in the frame, but 6th on the racetrack currently, Jamie.
And the team's watching our video feed on pit road right now, and they told me that in that area of the bike where we saw him making some adjustments, he can either be messing with his brake or his clutch. They're thinking he probably has a clutch issue that's developed. They said he's a little bit harder on him than some of the other riders, so they're guessing that that's what he's struggling with.
Yeah, I got that. Okay. So Bobby Fong out front. Now, Jason, when you look at that Cam Peterson crash, we just heard that he had done a lot of laps and that he's definitely tired, and we understand that. Do you think that those two things could be related, that maybe he just didn't have the feel because maybe part of that fatigue was setting in?
You know, Greg, it's hard for me to believe that would be what it is. Cam's incredibly fit, and the excitement of being where he was, I don't think that he was probably even thinking about being tired physically or mentally. He's done his job, like he said, for the weekend in his super stock races, and I feel that, when you look at what he did there, it's so easy when you're pushing like he was to make a tiny mistake, and that's really what I think that was all about. It does happen in our sport, and when you're trying to make up time on brakes against some of the faster bikes, you can have a tendency to get in there a little bit deep, and that's kind of what it looked like to me there. A little further back, you're looking at Travis Wyman here. Travis is just in front of Stefano Mesa and Ashton Yates, the lone Honda in our series. Really, Ashton Yates has been on this bike all year long, trying to get better. This is a spot that he likes a lot, meaning Barber Motorsports Park, and he's getting ready. He's right now racing with a couple other the super stock competitors that he races against all weekend long. But looking at the lap times of these guys, Greg, they're in the minute 27s where they're quickest.
So, Jay, we talk about these stock 1,000 motorcycles and how they're able to compete in this superbike class. So when we talk about the distinction between a full-blown superbike and a stock 1,000 machine, what we're talking about is the available modifications to a HONOS Superbike. The full-blown means that they have more engine mods. They're allowed things like swing arms and modified front ends and a lot of adjustability. So there's limitations. A stock 1,000 class is designed to be more economical for racers to come out and race in and to showcase that rider talent, not just technical prowess as well. So the distinction between a stock 1,000 motorcycle and a superbike, when we get to tracks like Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you're going to see a superbike jackrabbit away from a stock 1,000 motorcycle on that long straightaway because they do have a lot more horsepower.
And here's another battle between superbike and superstock. Corey Alexander right now is up the back of Dave Anthony. These guys have been kind of locked together now for the last 3-4 laps on my timing screen, being able to watch what they're doing. They're in the 26s, 26.4 for both of them this last time through, actually 26.7 for Dave Anthony. Corey Alexander having a look down the inside of Dave Anthony. Talking to Dave Anthony a little bit earlier, he was just talking to me about, it just seems like every time I try harder at this place, I go slower, and it just is one of those kind of tracks, Greg, where that seems to be the case. It's easier to do a lap time here, the more relaxed you are, then you feel like, I'm going to push a little harder, and those mistakes come in.
for David Anthony, having Andrew Lee joining the team for these 2 races, also on board of his old bike, his Suzuki bike. They discovered that some of the problems that David has been having isn't just him, because Andrew Lee has been having the exact same problems, and that's really given him a little bit of confidence as a rider, that he knows that they can work on some of these issues. Another problem that he has, though, with all of his team responsibilities and Bradley Ward, his normal teammate, not being here, they don't have anybody to drive their rig home. So if you know anybody with the CDL, send them down to Barber Motorsports Park, because you got to get these trucks out.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, and really, it shows you, Jason, the importance of having 2 riders on a team, including this Monster Energy Attack Performance Yamaha duo of Cameron Beaubier and Jake Gagne. Something has been sorted out. Gagne is now starting to feel it. He went by Kyle Wyman really quickly. Wyman seems to be struggling. He's about 1.1 off of his fastest time circulating around. As for Jake Gagne, last time by the stripe, he went 1:24.2. His fastest lap is a 1:24.1. So Gagne is on fire right now.
It's so weird how we've seen little issues for Gagne this year. I'm sure that the attack team, obviously they're on top of that, but Beaubier hasn't had those little issues, and whatever it was that Gagne was able to get fixed, he is flying now, because we've seen him. I've literally been watching in the back of our screen, watching this blue bike keep getting bigger and bigger, and he was able to go by Kyle Wyman, like you say, Greg, and get away. So 24, he's doing basically the same lap times right now as Matthew Skultz.
Well, Cameron Peterson is out of this one, and I hear he's with our Hannah Lopa.
We've seen an incredible performance all season long, and especially here this weekend. Unfortunately, at this crash, Cameron has pulled into the pits. Tell us a little bit about what happened out there.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty damn gutted, but I was having a pretty good ride going on, and yeah, Bob got into turn 5 just a little bit hot, and for a second I thought I could get underneath him, and last thing I wanted to do was take Bobby out. So right at the end there, I just grabbed a little bit too much front brake to make sure I wouldn't hit him, and yeah, it just sucks. We've had a pretty damn good weekend, and I felt like I had some pace there and a pretty good shot at a Superbike podium. And I've had 2 Superbike podiums taken away from me like this, so I'm just gutted. Sucks to end off the weekend like this, but otherwise we've had a pretty damn positive weekend. 2 wins in the stock class, top 5 yesterday, and I'm just going to take away my lap times from that race and the fact that I passed Tony and running with Bobby, I had some pace there. It feels pretty damn good. But thanks to the team and sorry to everybody for putting it down there.
We're glad you're okay. Thanks, Cam.
Think it means much to him?
Yeah, a lot.
You think?
Yeah.
And when you look at it, as you look at the battle now where Josh Herron has actually ran down David Anthony and Corey Alexander, Cameron Peterson has 0 to hold his head down for. The main thing is he didn't get injured. He's going to be ready to go at Indy, and these Superbike podiums are going to come again for him.
And class act by not wanting to take Bobby Fong out, and a 24.5 is that lap time he's talking about, and it was that 24 mark that he was hoping to get into on a stock 1,000 spec machine. So yeah, Cameron Peterson's got a lot to look at and keep his head held high. As for Josh Herron, you can see at the beginning of the race he had a little bit of a shuffling back, and now the number 2, the fan favorite on that BMW, circulating in the mid 25s, trying to chase down Corey Alexander, one of our stock 1,000 competitors out in this field. That's for 7th place. So Herron's had an up and down weekend. He's had some good pace on and off during the course of this HONOS Superbike Barber Motorsports Park weekend. Around Corey Alexander goes the number 2. So he'll take over 7th at the moment. Next on the hit list up the road is Kyle Wyman.
I wonder what happened to Josh in this race. Yesterday, I know, I spoke to him a little bit through some text messaging overnight, and he's still feeling the pain from this accident at New Jersey in warm-up last Sunday. So he did talk to me a little bit about that. Said for some reason he just couldn't find grip yesterday, kind of 2 laps into the race, but then he was also battling his ribs. Now, that said, his lap times now, Greg, being 25.0 to like someone like Corey Alexander who's 26 that last time by, Josh is still solidly in the 25s at the moment. So not really sure why he was shuffled back the way he was. Didn't see anything in our cameras, but he's charging forward.
And you talked about him not having that grip he was looking for in the race yesterday. He had a little bit of a spike in his confidence after the warm-up this morning. They went out on another set of tires, and he was able to turn his quickest lap of the weekend on the 10th lap on that set of tires. He's now put 11 laps on this race set. So see him coming up with this confidence and being able to put down the lap times is good for Josh Herron.
Absolutely. It's funny, Jamie, what a good warm-up session does for a rider's confidence. Even though that they know they've got what they have as far as talent goes, they get a good warm-up session after a bad race, and it just changes everything. As you can see, Herron now just starting to get into some of the traffic here.
So Josh Herron in 7th place. Kyle Wyman is up the road by about 12 seconds. So the amount of work that Josh Herron has got to do to catch the number 33, that's a lot of work. On board with Cameron Beaubier out front by 5.4 seconds. Let's have a listen to Cameron working the controls. Wow, he gets those downshifts done really quickly, doesn't he?
Yeah, second the throttle's getting close. There's no time wasted. He's going to get those downshifts done as he accelerates now out of turn 3 up this big G out. He's 24 flat that last time by, so he still got hammered down. Does Cam? He probably didn't like the fact that the board was staying at +3 and +3 and +3, and you know, 23.4 you see there, fastest lap, and he's still operating in that range of the 24 flat, high 23s still.
And for Cameron Beaubier, he's gone fast. Jason just mentioned it, a 123.403. That was on lap 2. And Jason, that breaks his race lap record again, the one that he set yesterday.
Yeah, no,
he's just on fire.
He is, and you can see Matthew Skoltz just doing a tremendous job on this Westby R1. I think Matthew will be happier with this race. This is a little section we saw him lose the front end on the opening lap. He's doing a really nice job. 24 flat also last time by for Matthew. And when you put that in perspective, that last lap through for Matthew Skoltz, his quickest lap of the race, Greg. So 24.041. And yesterday, it just didn't seem like he was, you know, not this racy compared to where he is at today. But 5.4 seconds back, still has Cameron Beaubier up in his gun sights, just up in front. Jamie, what do you have for us?
Talk about Matthew Skoltz not being as racy. They really felt like they were struggling in the corner exit. So overnight, they made some changes to the electronics as well as to the chassis. And this morning in warm-up, Matthew went out. He had to really relearn the bike because it rides very different than what he had on Friday and all day on yesterday. So he felt very comfortable with it. Obviously, it's working out now as you see him able to close that gap.
You know, to add to that, Jamie, Jason, when I spoke to the crew and to Josh Hayes, who works with Matthew Skoltz, one of the things that's been very interesting about Skoltz is because he's now running at this pace consistently, he's able to ride around Cameron Beaubier in the early going and Jake Gagne. That information, he's been able to get a lot of good information, and that information is translating to him wanting different things from this motorcycle, which is giving his crew a very direct direction in which to develop this motorcycle. Now, Bobby Fong in 3rd spot. Bobby's doing a great job as he is kind of eked away from his teammate Tony Elias. So M4 Star Suzuki's Bobby Fong in 3rd place, 3.8 seconds though behind Matthew Skoltz. 124.5 last time by for Skoltz. Oh, Kyle Wyman.
Where's Kyle dirt tracking to? That looks like turn 5. So he's gone in there too fast. He's been able to get the bike, save it, and get back onto the racetrack. So Kyle, that's going to put Kyle down a little bit. I'm just looking to see. Looks like Ashton Yates and them went by him. So Yates is 13th. So it's going to put Kyle back in 14th now. One of the things that they were working on the Ducati was when he's on the brakes, Greg, tipping in, the rear of the bike constantly feels like it wants to come, kind of back in on him, and he doesn't like how uncomfortable it makes him, and even a little bit mid-corner. Now, that said, 24.6 fastest for Kyle. But, yeah, it looks like he probably just ran off down in there.
Yeah, the Cato Fastening KWR Ducati team on that Panigale V4R flying the flag for the Ducatisti here in the HONOS Superbike race. Around lap traffic goes Bobby Fong into the museum turn. Now, if you've watched Bobby Fong race in the past, you can see a little difference in the motorcycle in the sense that because he does have that injured left wrist, the team has made some ergonomic adjustments to the motorcycle, meaning the way he fits on the bike. Those bars are out a little bit more for leverage, so he doesn't have to put so much force into the wrist. Bobby, it's okay for him, Jay. He likes to have the bars swept back a little bit more when he's 100%. Back towards him a little bit. Just feels a little bit more comfortable. But those are some of the things that you have to do and that the crew will help you through when you have a great crew like the M4X Star Suzuki team is, to make him more comfortable on the motorcycle to get him to this pace. So Bobby Fong trying to get another podium finish for himself. So far, Jason, he's won a race. He won the 4th race of the season. He's had a 2nd place finish and 2/3. Working on his third place finish of the season.
He's done a really nice job this year. First year on this team. First year with this team being the developing the Suzuki team. This year, you know, M4 Exhaust, they've been the main team this year for Suzuki. Hannah, what do you have for us?
Despite any other issues Bobby may have been having yesterday, overall he was just feeling down on power. So the team did an engine swap last night to help him out. He noticed a little extra something in the warm-up today. I'd be curious to ask him how much of a difference he noticed during this race after it's over.
Yeah, Hannah, obviously that's going to be a big difference because even looking at his times, it's a little bit quicker than yesterday. He's been able to get that gap back from Tony Elias. He's just pulled away ever so slightly. You can see Tony in the background, and he's just head down. He's roughly about 3.4 seconds behind Matthew Schultz, so he can still see Matthew up there. Here's Tony Elias. And even Tony's got a better race going than he had yesterday, 1.9 seconds behind his teammate.
Tony Elias, that rear tire, he was hoping it was going to be the magic bullet. But a 24.2 is something to look at as well. His fastest lap of the race, only 0.2 of a second slower than Schultz and Fong at this point. Of course, Beaubier with that 23.4. All right, Jason, so here's a look at the battle for 9th place. Here you have Travis Wyman, and then right behind him, Andrew Lee.
Yeah, unreal. He's come back from a long way, and Andrew's now, I've literally been watching him just kind of pick people off one person at a time, and now he's got Travis Wyman just up in his sights. Looking back, sees that there's nobody there. Franklin Armory jumping on board with Andrew Lee. We've seen them with him last year and again for this race weekend. So good to see them getting involved with his program. We've known some of the trials and tribulations that he's had this weekend. So he's actually been able to help Dave Anthony, like you say, kind of go back and forth on this GSX-R 1000. Up until yesterday, he'd never sat on a Suzuki before. He had 30 minutes of practice on this bike, and now he's trying to chase down Travis Wyman. He's doing a really nice job in 9th place right now.
On the BMW is Travis Wyman. Travis Wyman Racing S1000RR has shown moments of brilliance in this stock 1000 spec motorcycle. Wyman has had some good results this year, working on 9th place. Andrew Lee, last time, Jay, 2 laps ago, there was only a couple tenths of a second between them. Andrew Lee must have made a mistake last lap because 28.0 for Andrew Lee, but 26.9 for Wyman. Which, by the way, Travis Wyman set his fastest lap of his race.
With 4 to go.
With 4 to go.
Pretty good. And I saw Travis briefly after the Superstock race today walking away from Parc Ferme. He didn't look happy. Hopefully they made a couple changes because obviously with the evolution of this motorcycle for Travis, every weekend's a new weekend for him on this bike. And, you know, he uses these Superbike races not only because he's second in points in the Superbike Cup, but it's going to help him develop this bike further for the Superstock races that we have coming up at Indy and at Laguna Seca.
Your 2-time MotoAmerica Stock 1000 champion, Andrew Lee, his debut weekend in the HONOS Superbike class. It's been a very interesting weekend with some drama, but really getting on that GSX-R 1000 has been amazing. And talking with Andrew Lee, he said it just expands his mind as a rider. He spent tons of time on a Kawasaki. Jason, you said first time on a Suzuki, and Andrew's really enjoying it because it's giving him an entirely new perspective on how a motorcycle operates and how a motorcycle feels.
Yeah, and he talking to him and even talking to David Anthony. I mean, how cool is it that Dave Anthony lets Andrew just wheel out that other motorcycle that he had, that spare bike. Here we go, Cameron Beaubier coming on to the front straightaway. White flag should be flying this time by.
There you go, the final lap for Cameron Beaubier. Working on race win Lucky 13, right part of your screen. You can see the progression for Beaubier. Second lap, put his head down, 23.40. And then just consistent. Look at the 46s he's just been clicking off. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I don't think he was doing 46.
25s. He's actually been doing 25s on that one.
I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
He's been, once he set sail and set that pace for those first 5 laps, he's been in the 24s and 25s, last time by a 25.3. There's the gap back to Matthew Skultz, working on another second place finish. This would be his 6th of the year and his 10th podium, without question, in HONOS Superbike his best
and it's
season.
really good, GW. He's 4.4 back. It's kind of where we saw Gagne behind Cameron Beaubier yesterday. And you can see he still got his head down. Bobby Fong is still not that far behind. He's trimmed it down to 2.2. How about this? Bobby Fong just did his fastest third split of the entire race. 0 give up in Bobby Fong. Tony Elias, I think this is going to be a positive race for him too. Yeah, he's not winning, but he's 10, what is he, Greg? He's 8.9 seconds behind Beaubier. Yesterday, he was 18 seconds back at the finish. So here you go. Cameron Beaubier coming on the front straightaway. Everybody else is trying to get a little bit quicker.
Head down for Cameron Beaubier, a fist pump, and the checkered flag, the win in race number 2. His 13th victory of the season. Matthew Skultz wheel in the air to celebrate his second place finish. And just behind him by 0.8 of a second was Bobby Fong. He tried everything he could, but Westby Racing will get to celebrate their second place finish in Victory Circle, as well as Monster Energy Attack Performance Yamaha. So not a Yamaha sweep in this one, Jason. A couple of Yamahas and that M4 X-Star Suzuki of Bobby Fong will occupy that 3rd spot. So for Cameron Beaubier, a total race time of 28 minutes. Top speed, 157 miles per hour for these 1,000cc fire-breathing motorcycles. Well, Cameron Beaubier, another race win. Can't wait to hear what he has to say about this victory.
Today's Superbike race coverage has been sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Welcome back to Barber Motorsports Park, where race 2 is done and dusted. Cameron Beaubier, 5-second margin of victory over Matthew Skultz. And you can see on that same 5-second range, Bobby Fong, 0.8 of a second behind Matthew Skultz. What a push from him. Tony Elias, Jay, you talked about it, 8.6 seconds, something to build on. Jake Gagne able to recover from that interesting thing going on. We'll find out what that is for next week. But right now, it's all about Cameron Beaubier and his 13th win of the season.
Another near-perfect weekend for Cameron Beaubier. He does the double once again here at Barber. 13 out of 14 victories on the season. Cam, would you say this is your strongest season of your career so far?
Absolutely. I can't even believe it. It's just the role we've been on. It's been so fun, and I'm just, I'm so grateful for the team I have. Yeah, it's my bike has been working awesome all year, and it's been on rails around this place. I've been having so much fun this weekend riding this thing around here in front of all you fans. It's been 75 and sunny all weekend, and normally we come here, it's not like that. It's 100 and 100% humidity, so it's been such an amazing weekend. Just hats off to all my Monster Attack Yamaha guys. Yeah, they're been working so hard, and I'm just having pure fun with those guys this year. So 6D, Alpine Stars, and Man Above for keeping us safe out there. Both these guys rode incredible today. Yeah, Maddie, they're at the halfway through the race. I was trying to start managing the gap, and it started closing, and so I was like, man, I got to keep going. So hats off to him, and yeah, ready to move on to where are we going? We're going to Indianapolis.
Indy Laguna.
Going to Indy. I'm really looking forward to riding this thing around that place, and yeah, it's definitely time to start thinking about the championship. So.
Thanks, Cam. Congrats. Let's get over to Jamie Howe with second place.
Hannah, that's Matthew Skultz that finished second today. It's his 10th podium of the 2020 season, but with the result today, he closes the championship down to just 1 point for second place between he and Jake Gagne. When you make the changes to the bike overnight and they work, what does that do to you as a rider?
Yeah, I mean, most of the changes that we made, just I don't think they were going to actually make us quicker. It was just more about making me feel confident and not feeling on the absolute edge. But that really sucks what happened to Jake. But yeah, finishing second for the Westby Racing squad, I'm really happy. They made pretty major changes last night, and they were positive. We do have a test before the next round, so hopefully we can just carry on moving forward and catch up to Cam. he was riding awesome. You know, once I kind of saw that Jake bailed out, I was just had a pretty decent pace going, and then I kind of chilled out halfway through, and I saw that Bobby was catching me, so you know, I had to step it back up. But you know, just really happy to bring it back home in second place.
Congratulations to Matthew Skoltz finishing second. Hannah?
M4 X-Star Suzuki makes its way back onto the HONOS Superbike podium with Bobby Fong finishing in third place, marking his 5th podium of the season. Bobby, was it the engine swap last night or another change that made the difference for you today?
You know, it's a combination of everything, and you know, my M4 S-Car Suzuki definitely runs good at the end of a race. You know, we got to find speed in the beginning, but you know, we've shown you know, every weekend we have a pace at the end of the race, so we're going to go into Indianapolis with a little better game plan, and you know, hopefully we could stick with these guys at the end of a race. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, and kudos to everybody for coming out, and you know, we're going to give it hell next round.
Congratulations, Bobby Fong.
Yeah, Bobby's going to need these next couple weeks off, too, to help that wrist heal. All right, we'll take a break. When we step away from Barber Motorsports Park, don't go anywhere because we have still so much more coming at you. Welcome back to Barber Motorsports Park as Cameron Beaubier gets to stand on top of the podium for the 13th time in 14 tries this season. Unbelievable. Jay, let's take a look at race 2 highlights.
Yeah, when we look at the highlights, Greg, Cameron gets off to that tremendously good start again. Also, good to see Tony Elias get a good start today and be a little bit closer. Matthew Skoltz jumped into second place pretty quickly, and then Gagne there, you can see in third spot, was able to get that past, and Matthew Skoltz loses the front on the opening lap in the back section here in the S's. Gagne was able to slide up underneath Skoltz also on that opening lap, but then all of a sudden something starts to happen. It's almost like he's making a clutch adjustment or something on that motorcycle, Greg, because we kind of thought he was going to be gone. Problem was he came back. Then we had 3 Suzuki GSX-R 1000s fighting for the front. You heard Cam Peterson absolutely gutted that he fell. Felt like he had the pace to possibly get his bike on the podium today. He will be back, but Cameron Beaubier all the time just kept putting down those fast, high 23 lap times. Matthew Skoltz also very consistent. Bobby doing what he does best and just keeps grinding out the laps to end up third. But Cameron Beaubier goes on and just gets another victory in this dominating season.
Absolute clinic for the Californian, Cameron Beaubier. Let's take a look at those championship standings, because as Beaubier continues to pile on the points, keep in mind at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Laguna Seca, we have 3 races in the HONOS Superbike class per weekend. So you still have a whole pile of points. He's got 103 on Jake Gagne now with Skoltz. So you can see that Gagne is still holding on to second place by a single point because Gagne was able to come back and get his way up into 5th spot. So Bobby Fong and Tony Elias hanging around there in those M4 X-Star Suzukis. How about the class of Cameron Beaubier? He takes his #1 trophy and hands it to a fan. What a guy. Some of the sights you see when you come to Barber Motorsports Park, I mean, that's just a small sample, Jason. The art around here, or the, I don't know what you call it, the flair, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to call it the flair.
Every time I come here, I literally see something new somewhere hanging like this. There's obviously just coming down into turn 6.
It's so spectacular around here. And Cameron Beaubier, I think, said it the best. I think it was Cameron who said, normally we come here and it's like 100 degrees, 100% humidity, but it has been a spectacular weekend here after that Hurricane Sally, which turned into a tropical depression, blew through this area. It created a really nice weekend, but it was a good weekend of racing, especially for Cameron Beaubier.
Yeah, no question. And you just got to watch him, take your hat off to him. He's world class. We've run out of things to say about him. The encouraging part about it to me this weekend was Matthew Skoltz did a tremendous job, as well as the 2 Suzuki riders, Tony Elias and Bobby Fong, were a little bit closer today. It'll be interesting to see what those guys do and if they can close that gap down in Indy.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Jason, obviously legendary racing. We've seen from a motorcycle standpoint some MotoGP races here, some old Harley classes and Junior Cup, but I've been there, you haven't. It's a spectacular racetrack. You get to race across the yard of bricks, and it goes counterclockwise, long front straightaway. But Jason, the thing about it is that it is a mixed bag of how the racetrack's going to be. I'm excited to get there in a couple weeks' time because Indianapolis Motor Speedway is iconic. Now, that's live. Okay, so that's...
And we still got another race today, so we want to make sure that's taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jason, race 2, HONOS Superbike is done and dusted. Cameron Beaubier wins by 5 seconds over Schultz and Bobby Fong. But that battle for second place in this championship is going to be interesting to watch when we get to Indy, October 10th and 11th. Thanks so much for joining us here. For Hannah Lopa, Jamie Howe, and Jason Pridmore, I'm Greg White. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for more Superbike race action.